Hello. I'm not sure if that'll actually even help anything. You saw a cardinal today? It's extremely, especially nowadays, that's an extremely lucky sign. Even to tell people that you found one is lucky. But yeah, as for the girl you mentioned, it does seem like they are trying to replace her. Because I kind of looked at it while the stream was down. No, not you. Someone else. High Priestess. I have a friend named Casey. I have very deep feelings for. Mm, oh my god. I just got a call. FaceTime with me? Why not me? Wait. Why not me? Yes, it will be you. Yes. Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, you're saying that you have a friend who you do have very deep feelings for, and you're just wanting to know if the feelings are mutual. Going by your cards, Queen of Cups in the primary position in reverse does show that as of right now, the feelings aren't exactly mutual, though they do seem to be feeling something strong for you. It's just still platonic. Six of Pentacles in the secondary position in reverse is advising that generally with this kind of connection, you probably do want to dial it back a bit in terms of how much emotion and time you're putting into it, since I do think you're getting a bit of a negative return right now. And Nine of Pentacles in the final position is further building on that due to its reverse nature by saying that you do need to go ahead and just be comfortable where things are right now. Since things are secure and comfortable between the two of you. So I do think that if you push a bit too much, you could end up damaging things. So for right now, going by your reading, I would just dial it back a bit and enjoy this platonic space you have with them. And I think, in terms of anything stronger developing between the two of you, that it will develop naturally if you just wait. Now, if you want any more information about what the future has for you, as well as anything such as your compatibility with each other, you can give me a call or send me a message. God, this sucks. I hope I can get some new headphones. Yes, it's definitely you. That's probably why they were all talking about you and all that other stuff like a week or two ago. They have lots of plans for you. What's that noise? I swore I just heard something. Will you be there when I do stuff for them, act? I'm not sure. I ended up talking to someone else recently. Well, I don't know because they're acting weird. But there's someone else who lives in New York who may or may, I don't know. where things are going to go with us. You think my head boss heard her say it? No. Your head boss is the type of person who, like, tunes that stuff out. Oh, God. But he noted how you reacted? Yeah. He couldn't help but kind of notice that. Oh, you sent the link. Well, Nate and Jamie. Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, you're wanting to know if Nate and Jamie will ever break up. And you want to know why she's so obsessed with me. Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, you're wanting to know, will Nate and Jamie ever break up? And you want to know why he's so obsessed with her. Going by your cards, the Hanged Man in the primary position in reversed does show that their relationship does seem to be reaching a bit of an impasse where they're unable to really reconcile over something, which this is already indicating that they're probably leading towards a breakup. Now, death in the secondary position is confirming that they will end up breaking up. As for his obsession with her, King of Cups in the final position in reversed is mostly alluding to the fact that Nate is someone who craves a lot of validation and just hasn't really gotten a lot of that so far in his other relationships. So something in the way that Jamie responds to him or stimulates him seems to just have triggered an addictive response in him on a level. So that kind of would fall in line with how most people become addicted to their partners. Now, if you want to know more about the future regarding either of these people, as well as any other issues that may come up for either of these people, you can give me a call or send me a message. There's so many questions. Oh my God. Will you come support and hang out? Yes. Does she know that she's about to be booted? I'm sure she can feel the writing is on the wall. You don't think I'm gonna like her? Why? Hello, this is Shanoa. Now, regarding your question, you're wanting to know if your ex, Caleb Baker, is in a serious relationship and happy without you. Going by your cards, Two of Pentacles is showing that right now, Caleb is trying to balance between two different options in his life, but it doesn't seem that they've really gone anywhere yet. Six of Wands is indicating that pretty soon he will end up in a relationship, but it won't be serious by any amount. It's just going to be like the initial stages of a relationship. Knight of Wands in the final position does show that he still has a bit of a dulled passion for you in the back of his mind. So even though he's content enough right now, he still definitely thinks about you. Now, if you want to know more about what the future holds for him, as well as any other issues that may come up for him, as well as when you two may reconnect, you can give me a call or send me a message. I'll see. Let me throw this on the TV. Land Party Studios.
Is Letha falling asleep? No, I'm feeling like if.
I don't want them to be. I'm playing it. What? I'm just gonna play. Oh my god. I was gonna be able to see it faster if I put it on my TV, but never mind. I'm just gonna play Black Pill stuff. I guess I'll watch it later.
Travis, you put this in your face. So.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you think the team played today? Man, we absolutely succumbed. So formidable. And it's to the right. My right or your right? Whoa, that 10 floor's gonna spark. That's why I'm doing it. I had a feeling.
What's up, everybody? I'm going to wait for everyone to show up first before we really get started on today's topic, which I put in the title of the video. I get some bad news in regards to my job. However, I'm just going to try to focus on some of the things that I'm working on right now. I've been doing a little more ACEOs. I have a whole box full of ACEOs right now. I don't know how you guys feel about these ones. This is like some sort of blue mouse. I did Stitch, Flying Bunny Rabbit. Just review some of the ones. I think I've shown you guys most of these. I did this one twice. What's up, guys?
You can watch it, just mute it? Oh my god. Okay, I'm muting. Do I like her energy? I mean, I'm pretty
Phil's science diet, sensitive stomach and skin.
I'm not like hypercritical or anything. I mean, she seems all right. It just seems like she gets on their nerves. Seems like they're kind of fed up with her.
Hey guys, what's up, Alan? Tiny Berry for Val, Burnett. I did get fired. I'm going to talk about it in a minute.
Wow.
Everyone's here.
Well, someone literally just asked if I have
I got
kids,
let go,
so
but
that's
I'll explain in a
great.
second. I'm just going to give it like one more minute before I really go into details. So you guys can enjoy these CEOs for now.
Yes, it's very awkward. They need to I mean, the set is nice. Their camera work is nice. Just, let me check that channel again. Because I need to see their metrics. Because, I mean, they have a good logo. They have 1,000 subscribers. Okay. I mean, I'm seeing shorts. I'm seeing videos. God, they have a lot of playlists. Good Lord. Okay. So they're just doing like Let's Plays. I just don't know what any of these games are. Okay, wait a minute. 7 months, 6 months, 4 months, 2 months, 1 month, 3, 2. So it seems like they're doing like a video a month or like 2 videos a month. And so I guess they do need to well, I don't know. You said he's already doing a lot of stuff, so this probably isn't even like a primary thing. I mean, it seems like they're gonna go good places if they just keep their production up and keep pumping stuff out.
Hey, someone's looking confident.
Ow! New groomer? Actually, she used her Care Credit credit card to get a little work done.
Your vet treats people?
Care Credit isn't just for vet care. Humans can use it for self-care too.
What?
Facials, bills.
What about wrinkle treatments?
What's wrong with the wrinkles?
Nothing. Flexible financing for health and wellness with Care Credit.
People should absolutely rethink what they know about Hereditary Tools. It's a totally different company. My name is Wes Harlan. I'm the Senior Vice President of Quality and Engineering. Our QA labs are really unique. We've literally got the best engineers in every industry that we compete in. We have equipment in-house that push our tools to the breaking point. Nothing goes on the shelf without being tested until we're confident it's going to be the highest quality product that you can find anywhere. We can build quality into our products and still offer that compelling value.
Hey guys, what's up? Alan, Tiny Berry, Pavel, Brunette. I did get fired. I'm going to talk about it in a minute when everyone's here. Let go, but I'll explain in a second. I'm just going to give it like one more minute before I really go into details, so you guys can enjoy these CEOs for now.
God, this is a lot of stuff to read. Good Lord.
It wasn't that I wasn't showing up. I was going every day like I was supposed to. What's up, Joseph? Yes, I've been to the Coca-Cola Museum. It's been several years, maybe even a decade or two since I've been. All right, let's get into this. So I did end up losing my job. What they said happened was that they had hired too many people and then they decided to go with somebody else besides me. And that's pretty much what happened. I'm pretty sure that the fact that I'm neurodivergent had something to do with the fact that I wasn't selected to stay. It is tough to have this happen, but I wasn't really happy there anyway. And I know that I wasn't doing the best, but I was doing my best, you know? And that's all I can do. So that is the way they legally drop you. And because it was, before my 90 days, they're allowed to do that. And it doesn't even count as like firing, I guess. Not really. It's kind of more of like, I was a temp worker by definition, and they would have had to hire me on as like a permanent hire. And because it was a 90-day temporary position, technically, they're allowed to let me go before the 90 days. That's pretty much how it works.
God, this is a lot to read.
So, yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. I really feel disappointed in myself because I was doing the best that I could. And I don't know what else I could have done. So they just didn't like my personality, I guess. I didn't really ask any more details. They wouldn't go into it. I'm assuming that my RBF and I just wasn't very good at customer service or whatever, so I'm not very good at putting on that customer service voice. I did what I could though. I'm really sorry, guys. So that's what's going on. I'll give you guys a hoop. For 80 viewers.
Okay, gotta get some tea.
They just said it matter of factly. It wasn't anything big or major. They just said that I wasn't on. They took me off the schedule. I don't know about welding. I never really considered it. But I'm looking into other stuff. I'm really sorry that this is the way that I have to tell everybody, but they're allowed to do that technically. So I'm gonna look for another part-time job in the meantime and continue on with YouTube and my art. My art. And that's really all I can do. And I'm super sorry that this is the way it is with me. Keep trying to land jobs. You got 20 people cheering you on. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure you like the chat. We got 97 people and only 11 likes, so make sure you like it. Definitely hit the chat up. It's free, guys. I'm gonna pull up my Etsy really quick. I'm gonna I pinned the Etsy, so you guys can just click on the Etsy link. I got 100 viewers. This is the first time I've had 100 viewers. But yeah, I'll probably be making more videos now that I have more time and doing more art and focusing more on building my art business, I guess, since I have nothing but time at this point. So in case you guys missed it, I was hired on as a temp worker for 90 days, and then they were going to decide if they were going to keep me for longer than 90 days, and they didn't decide to keep me. So unfortunately, I did lose my job, in case you missed that. Thanks, guys. Being a YouTuber is a dream career. It's my dream career too, but I don't know how I'm supposed to do it or make it work that way. Thanks for liking the stream. If you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure you do. They just brought me up to the office and said that my 90 days was pretty much over and that this was my last week. And that they had gone with other people. So it is pretty sucky, I guess you could say. But if you missed it, I lost my job. Technically, I was hired on as a temp worker. That was what we agreed to. We agreed for me to have a temporary 90-day position. My 90 days was up, and they decided not to keep me past the 90 days.
Fuck, I forgot the tea.
And there is only so much I can do. be a YouTuber in Super Chat? Okay, guys, leave me Super Chat then. Just kidding. I'm not gonna beg you guys for Super Chats. I think your support of me is enough, so it's good to see you. And as a neurodivergent, psychodiverse, brain sensitive, model, physiosensory, whew, Middle Eastern crisis already affects us all. Absolutely is true. I did try, and you know what? I don't regret it, Willie, because I did earn some money, and I met one of my savings goals from that job. And I'm glad that I met that savings goal. You guys say you probably get some government kickback for hiring people 90 days temp? Probably. My monthly ad revenue is not enough at all to live on. I don't really have any bills though, so I guess I can just do my best with that, honestly. No, I did not call in sick more than 6 times. I only called in sick once. I was late twice though. They had no intention of giving me problems from the start. It sounds like you really built yourself. Stay positive. Thank you. Raymond is nuts. I had to quit my last job at a grocery store because of a toxic manager cutting my hours and being disrespectful and rude all the time and having insane expectations. Oh my god, that's crazy, TM. Yeah, they do have high expectations despite minimum wage. You know, it's weird. Oh, that sucks. I still have not found a job. I made a video titled "Here's No Job." Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Yeah, YouTube does not pay enough ego. It's really tough. Just have one of your favorite cookies and it'll make your day better. Shelby, I think you can make YouTube work if you work consistently. The thing is that my views are really, really down. I feel like my channel is kind of shadow banned. I'm not really getting everybody to see my content. My content's not being pushed out like it was before I got that inappropriate and incorrect strike into my account. So I don't know if YouTube's ever going to pick my channel back up again. People will eventually realize that the workforce is just high school with adults. So true. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you like my TikTok. And hello, Catherine. So I'll go over this again. Basically, technically speaking, when they hired me, I was hired on as a temp worker for 90 days. They said that my was up and that they were deciding not to hire me on as a permanent employee, so I'm not really even fired. It's just that my tenure there ended, basically, technically speaking. So yeah. Good to see you, Peter. You don't need to call and complain. They didn't technically break the rules or the law or anything like that. Make sure you guys like the stream. Like the stream, please. I want those likes to be equivalent to the viewers. And yeah, don't forget to do that. Like, hype. I don't know if you can hype the stream or not, but yeah. They might really. I don't think I really need a reference to another retail job though. In short, the labor of the economy. If I had a place to do that to me too, like I said, they probably weren't going to keep me from the start. Probably not. I never no call, no showed. I always called in. I only called in sick one time. Other than having high IQ is everything's success. True. I agree with that 100%. I don't really have, normally I don't get as many live viewers. Normally it's about half as much as I'm receiving right now. So normally I get around 60, but we got 120 people for the first time in a long time. So I guess everyone's interested in what has been happening.
What's going on with Vanessa?
Make an intentional community or join one. And after a few years, then all the sisters. Cool. That'd be cool.
She's currently overwhelmed. Her plate is
No
loaded
commission
right
or
now.
anything like that.
So yeah, she's going through it. She's trying to get through
The internet has been failing
her
globally.
obligations. It's just a lot right now.
They hire people as service racing. I'll find another job, don't worry. It's tough to stay in one job for long these days, thanks. All I can do is my best. And I'm not gonna have any hard feelings about it. They hire temps not to give them benefits, exactly, because I was working like plus 30 hours a week, but because I was signed on as a temp, that's kind of why. Thank you, Willie, for all the positivity. Still making stuff up.
She's still going to say something to you.
Character design, I'm not really that great at it, to be honest. but
Yes, she is.
Maybe it's my phone, but lately, various platforms applications have been failing worldwide. The comfort of factory work, I don't know, I'd probably be bored. I might not be able to handle it. There's the grindstone. The black cat, maybe that's Vegas, I don't know. It's like grinding in Pokemon. It's only about a chat. True. What matters more, 50 million subscribers or 50 million views for a video? I would say views are more important than subscribers. Personally love my work, and if you were to hold even a small niche meeting, we would get to know each other. That sounds cool, Joseph. Good on you for your video on Raymond. He's a bully and needs to be stopped. Thank you guys. Our working activities at a nursing home, it pays pretty shitty, but I love it. That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm thinking about doing maybe Instacart. I'm not really sure what that would be like, especially with the gas prices these days. Raymond's trying not to watch me right now. Wow, that's pretty crazy. You like my channel, Jeffrey? Thank you. Thanks for liking the stream. If you haven't already liked it, make sure you click that thumbs up button. And if you're lurking, feel free to enter the chat. I'm very friendly and I'll answer your questions. In case you missed it, I was hired on as a temp worker and my 90 days was up, so they did not continue my contract after the 90 days. Your sister was laid off this week in Atlanta. She was a high-level marketing business employee. Her boss was demoted. Oh my gosh. It's really tough. I'll let you know, Willie. I appreciate your messages, though. You're not bothering me, I promise. I really love your content, and your story helped me a lot. Thank you. When you worked at Publix, it drove you insane. Oh, yo, Nicholas, thank you. Tiers are live. Maybe there's a mod. I don't know what that means. But thank you for the super chat. YouTube is my job. Okay, I guess YouTube can be my job. of a choice at this point. At least I have some level of income coming in from YouTube.
Oh my God.
I did pass the secret shopper evaluation, that's true. So I don't think it was me necessarily. It was just the fact that they weren't wanting to keep people long term.
I'm just reading Reddit,
The whole time, technically.
and I'm just seeing I'm looking at my
It's not as much as I was
ex's
thinking.
Reddit account,
Um,
and I did not know for like months and months she's just posting about me everywhere in subreddits over and over and over and over, and like linking pictures of my Twitter and all this other stuff, and saying how I caused 9/11 and how anything that's crazy that's been posted about her came from me. She's actually like reverse obsessed about me. Oh my God. What did I do to her? This is insane. I mean, I know I said that she does talk about me like literally every day amongst her people, but I didn't know she was this dedicated. That she's literally talking about me 24/7. Like I am the boogeyman. Okay, does she feel that she hasn't said... What do you mean, does she feel that she hasn't said anything? I mean, I know that she's very aware that she needs to say something to you. She's just trying to get to it.
also, she never work at supermarkets. Yeah, it's crazy. I couldn't handle it. No, I don't think Raymond called my employer and got me fired or anything like that. Kristen, that's not very nice. Even if it's just for a moment, because the situation here in Peru, yeah, it's pretty tough out there. I'll let you know when I'm gonna schedule. Now that I have free time, I'm probably gonna schedule the 20,000 sub special. Charles, you want to make a cameo? Who wants to make a cameo appearance? Here's our little boy.
Is that who I'm watching? No, it's just a random girl that I'm watching.
I just can't get enough of that, Charles. Go hump a sock, Charles. Go molest a sock. In case you didn't know, Charlie has a sock fetish. He'll literally go around and just molesting clothing articles. In front of everyone. He's a voyeur. He's a exhibitionist, I would say. I was handling it. It sucks. Or can you buy my art? I tagged it in the description, or I tagged it in the chat. My Etsy is where you can buy my art. I got all sorts of things. You don't even just have to buy wall art. You can buy it printed on notebooks and puzzles and stuff like that too. My tenure ended because I was technically hired on as a temp worker. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened. My parents are disappointed, obviously, but they understand. Anyway, guys, we got 150 viewers and 75 likes. That's pretty awesome. So we'll celebrate that.
Meet Statement Man. Quote, he's the strongest creature on Earth. Something every Bucky fan has heard.
What is going on, everybody? Random Hero Gaming. It's good to be back. Over the past several weeks, I got a peek into the married life. I attended a cousin's child's birthday, and it was their first birthday, so there was a lot of young couples there with their babies and little kids, and I got to schmooze a little bit, kind of eavesdrop, just people watch. And the other one was my other cousin is pregnant, and she had a gender reveal. So that was my first ever.
Can you see why he hasn't said anything yet?
With your investments means asking the questions others don't. Actively manage ETFs from T. Rowe
He mainly just hasn't. Well,
Design to
The New York
he's mainly trying to find the energy to even bring that up. Especially from seeing that video you showed me. He is someone like when it comes to interpersonal stuff, he kind of has to have all his energy properly accumulated when it comes to like his actual personal like interactions. It reminds me of, I think this is pretty normal. I know plenty of people where it's like they just go, and they're doing all these things, but when it comes to like their actual internal life with people, it can be hard to hear from them. I mean, geez, that's literally me. I mean, it took me like 24 hours to get in touch with you.
In the United States, which is a sizable increase from 70 million in 19.
What card is it?
1990. So
I got Knight of
in
Swords.
the past. This is important because it's not just marriage. Like I think marriage is a piece of this, but they're single, which means they're not even in relationships. They're not like cohabitating. They're not just shunning the institution of marriage itself. They're just not engaging in relationships at all. So researchers are starting to gain a consensus that marriage has lost its luster by, I think it's a little bigger than that. There's one person I interviewed here that there's evidence that it's not just that adults are delaying marriage, they're just dismissing it in general. And so
He's rushing towards me. It shows that he wants to rush towards you. But since there's a delay, that tells me that he doesn't have the energy yet to do
and
so.
they highlight that in 2021 there was a study that was done by the National Center for Family and Marriage Research at Bowling Green University, and they found the rates of couples marrying was at its lowest point since 1971, which shows a positive correlation with the Family Law Act of 1969 that was implemented in California, ironically signed into law by Ronald Reagan. And that is when no-fault divorce became a thing. So it was instituted in California, went into law in 1970, spread nationwide after that. So obviously, once that happened,
Can I get rid of the delay?
started falling apart, and you can see that here.
I don't think we should do that.
because
That might
the
complicate
rate
things.
of couples marrying was at its lowest since 1971, which is when that started. So what are people doing instead of getting married? Well, some are cohabitating, and they think that that is close enough. And because the reason they're doing that is because they see marriage is just a contract facilitated by the state. So this is they interviewed a millennial couple in Colorado, and they said they had a prenup, and so they had the quote unquote legalese in order, and that they live in a common law state. So basically, they could argue that they're already married, but then they don't have like the actual paperwork in place to signify that they're married. Some women have said that they would like to marry, but have been disappointed by the prospects available to them. So this is Shawnee Silver is a millennial woman. She is the one pictured here, so I can understand why she might be disappointed with the options that are available to her. But she claims that as millennials, we got to the age where we were promised all these things that would happen, and they never did. This person lives in New Orleans, and so she's starting to see a future that can be scary because no one has really mapped it out for us. And that just feels very infantile reading that. Like she, this is a 43-year-old woman who expects hand-holding through the whole process of dating and getting married. And like, yeah, you can rely on some advice from people who've done it before you, but no one is going to provide you with a spouse to get married to. Like, you have to do the work yourself and go meet guys and find one and make yourself a woman that someone would want to marry. And a lot of these women are not putting in the work to do that. I think they just assume that like Prince Charming is going to swoop in and meet all of their needs, and they're not going to have to give up anything. And I think they're uncomfortable with the reality that that's not how things work. Relationships are, with two people, right? So you're coming together as one, but you're two different people. And there's work involved, and you have to, if this is a priority and you want to be married, like you have to go out and find yourself someone who wants to marry you and make yourself marriage material. And a lot of these women they're not doing that. And so it says here, because of cultural biases that have put the onus on women to mold themselves into perfect partners, we worked on ourselves throughout our lives to become a desirable partner who were told to become. Notice here the term partner and not wife. They don't see themselves as wives or potential wives. They see themselves as partners, which is right off the bat, like repelling to a lot of men. She says the men don't rise alongside us. They've stagnated. Their imbalances in domestic labor responsibilities, emotional labor responsibilities, and running a household. So now putting the blame.
Why would
on
it complicate things?
Men aren't doing their part.
That is a very
So
long
they've
explanation, but it's
stagnated,
like imagine a bunch of
I'll
dominoes.
cover this in separate videos,
You
but,
just need to be careful when it comes
society
to
has put
wanting to make
and
a lot of
trying to,
adjustments to something,
opportunities to be the best version
especially in a
of themselves.
timeline.
But because of the feminist paradigm and how men are viewed, there's expectations now being put on them within the household to do certain things, and that's just it's just men don't want to put up with that, and understandably so. And so this person argues here that there needs to be equality basically within the household, where men and women are supposed to have, equal share of domestic labor, equal share of emotional labor responsibilities, but doesn't acknowledge the fact that each brings a complementary role into the household. And so some do more work in different ways than others, and it's not less than or greater than, it's just different. And women like this just can't see that there's a role to play, not equality. And men want to play their role, and traditional women want to play their role. They don't want this equal 50-50 split. And so again, talking about how, wanting a true equality, and argues here that this is this guy here, a Gen Xer. He argues that men were never socialized to view singlehood as a bad thing. So this is where, again, there's an imbalance where women are, if you're a single woman and you're older than 35, whatever, you're a spinster, right? Like there's this negative conception of an older woman who's never gotten married, whereas for men it's not. There's not that same stigma. And so he says men were never socialized to view singlehood as a bad thing. For them it was, you guys are fine, stay who you are, and women will fall into your lap. So again, like this woman who said that, but blaming men basically for their problems and for the perceived requirements imposed on them by society. And so this is a a Gen Xer who says he acknowledges the double standard, but is okay being a lifelong bachelor and isn't really too concerned about it. It talks about here how the roles also have expanded and changed. So it's not just about being like husband and wife anymore. There's so much more to it. So he says, in 1960, when you married your husband or wife, you were not looking for that person to be everything for you. He said, now, however, the person is also supposed to be your best friend, your personal and professional confidant. For him and for much of his largely Gen X popular audience, that's too much pressure. So whereas millennials expect hand-holding, Gen Xers are saying, you know, I didn't sign up for all of this. I don't need to be your therapist. I don't need to be your BFF. Like, I want to be your husband. And if, you know, can't have that, then what's the point? And so that's how those two generations look at it. And then the third generational cohort this piece looks at is Gen Z. And so this is based on one individual who wrote an opinion piece for a student newspaper in Toronto. Again, this is about, this piece is weird too, because they're looking at marriage in the United States, but then they keep relying on interviews with people in Canada, which I think there's overlap in our culture, sure, but it's different. What's happening in Canada is very different than I think what is happening here in the United States in a lot of ways. And so this person, again, wrote a piece for the University of Toronto, and they argue that they're risk averse. So Gen Z is risk averse, that Gen Z is just delaying or outright avoiding saying I do because they just don't like taking risks at all. So Gen X doesn't want to deal with the expanded requirements and the emotional burden expected of men in relationships these days. Millennials want hand-holding. They want someone to tell them exactly what to do, and they feel like they haven't had that and are now aging out. And Gen Z is risk averse. They just don't want to try at all. So that's kind of the three different generational cohorts, how they're framing it here. It says, in a recent phone call, Miss Ginebra said she was among the faction that would like to get married, ideally in her late 20s or early 30s, but I'm trying to be content in my singleness. I'm preparing myself for if that doesn't happen, she said. So the thing here is, again, you can't just wait for Prince Charming to come and find you. You have to do some of the work on your own. You have to make choices that puts you in a position to find a spouse. So if you want to get married and you're a woman, you have to mold yourself into becoming wife material. If you are not currently wife material,
What does Gregory say about this?
City
If it was 50%, I'm hoping.
right? You know, where marriage isn't really
Hope
on the radar.
I'm saying her name right.
Single, folks. Like,
Yes, I see your comment.
You're not setting
What does
yourself up
Gregory
for
say about
success. So
this?
you have to do the work on your own too. You can't just wait for it to happen to you. And so I read this like this young woman is in the same position as a millennial, waiting for someone to guide her, but also not wanting to take any risks at the same time. And of course, a lot of younger folks are blaming this on the cost of living. And yes, there is a huge problem with the cost of living, but I think this is an oversimplification, and it's a way of not taking responsibility for yourself or for your choices. She says it's taking a lot longer for people to settle into financial independence and move out of their parents' houses, myself included. So the assumption here is you need to have a home in order to get married and have a family. And yeah, having a home certainly does help. But again, this comes back to individual choices. So I want to just throw this out here because people constantly talk about how housing is expensive. Here in Texas, housing is not expensive. Depending on where you live, sure, there can be some expensive homes, but by and large, housing is affordable. So this is Zillow, just for Texas. And this is looking at the Texas Triangle. So if you're not familiar with what the Texas Triangle is, it's the corridor on I-35 from Dallas to San Antonio, east to Houston, and then back up to Dallas. And this is expected to be a major metropolitan area in the next decade or so. There's some people who are projecting that like Dallas-Fort Worth could grow to be bigger than New York City as more and more companies and more people move to Texas. Like, it's just rapidly growing. So there's a lot of opportunities that are emerging here in Texas. And what's good about
Interesting.
that is it's possible, if you see it as a triangle, it's possible to kind of live in the middle and be able to commute, or if you don't mind commuting, if you because there's a bunch of financial firms.
She wants you
like the Texas Stock Exchange, for
to
example,
communicate
the New York Stock
with some
Exchange,
other
New York,
people
I think Morgan Stanley,
connected to you.
started a second
Because I do believe you
Dallas. A
mentioned
lot of,
some people that you
not just tech,
haven't really
but
talked
finance as
to.
well, relocating
But she wants you to do
here
that.
Texas. And so there's opportunities to earn a big city salary, possibly to have hybrid or some sort of remote work arrangement, and to live a small town Texas life. Again, this will vary based on what you do for work. Not everyone can do this, but it is an option that folks need to consider. So I did this for $200,000 or less. Too bad, all just homes, right? And so there's 6,000, more than 6,000 homes in this like Texas Triangle-ish area, some outlying spots as well. But you can see like they're decent homes. Like you can buy a house for under $200,000. I think Waco is probably super underrated in my opinion, just because it's kind of equidistant between Austin and Dallas. So if you wanted to have an affordable,
I'm asking about getting rid of the delay.
expense,
Yes,
and
that's what she
access to
said.
larger employment opportunities, I think,
That is what she told you to do
Waco, Temple, some of these
if you want to get
are
rid of the
way to go.
delay.
But there's houses for $165,000, right? $179,000, $190,000, $139,000, right? Not bad. It's a cute little college town. It's really
Talk
not
to who?
that bad.
Probably those people that you
Color or
mentioned who you
remote,
haven't
work,
really
or
talked to
don't
recently.
mind commuting an hour or so into Dallas or Austin. It opens you up to a lot of opportunities. So why do I bring this up? Because I think young people think it's more expensive to get into a home than it really is, and I was one of these people because I never really fully understood
Like,
it
talk
either.
him.
And it's not as expensive as
Yeah,
people
I guess
make it
he
out to
could be
So,
also
if you have a $200,000
someone that she's
house
talking
and you
about.
get an FHA loan, you need to put $7,000 in down payment. Now, there's some caveats with that, closing costs and all that kind of thing. But a lot of states have first-time home buyer programs, and if you especially buy in a special designated community, so you're not buying in a major metropolitan area per se, but you're purchasing in a community that has some incentives to draw homeowners or home buyers in. There's assistance programs. So you might not actually need the full down payment, or closing costs might be covered. There's all sorts of programs you can tap into. But really, if you want a $200,000 house, you can get an FHA loan and you need a $7,000 down payment. So that's $583 per month for 12 months. So if you either save up, you cut costs, stop, cancel your Spotify, your Netflix, you stop going out for coffee. If you can do that for a year, and or you combine that with maybe doing gig work for a year, 12 months, all you gotta do is do that for 12 months, and you can have enough money for a down payment on a house in Waco, Texas, and have access to 2 major metropolitan areas. And not to mention, give yourself a personal raise because there's no state income tax here in Texas. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, you have people like this. I don't know where, it doesn't say where she's, okay, she's a singer. She's in Ontario. I don't know if this is an expensive part of Canada. If you're from Canada, tell me what the cost of living is in here. But I'm assuming she went to the University of Toronto. There's some cost there. But if you have a job where you can do it anywhere, and you don't have to be in a major city, I think now is the time for Gen Zers to make a move and move to a different location. If this is the one thing that is preventing you from getting married, if owning a home is one thing preventing you from getting married, you have to do the math and find where the homes are, because homes do exist, and they exist in a lot of places where you might not expect. I think a lot of people think, it's just like rundown towns, and yeah, there are a ton of rundown towns out there, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of cities too, like decent cities with lower costs of living that people don't recognize, and they just haven't done the research for themselves. So part of it is you have to do the work to become the type of husband or wife that someone would want to marry, but then also, if this is the impediment, like, do the math and figure it out for yourself, because you might just not be aware of how much it costs. Like, I lived in DC for a while, and obviously the cost of living there is exorbitant, right? I've always thought I would live there, so if I wanted to buy a home, a townhouse there, a row house is like $800,000 and $1 million, right? So like, okay, I'll never be able to afford a home. Never once considered that there were other places where I can live, and surprise, surprise, there are, and they're rather affordable. So I think people need to do some homework for themselves. And so it concludes with saying that people still want to get married and are expecting to be married, and they're very enthusiastic about marriage, but for all of these reasons that people aren't getting married. I'd be curious to know your thoughts on this. Do you see this generational breakdown if you're Gen X, Millennial, or Gen Z, or
So does she want to message Gregory? Oh my God, you're very agitated. Does she want you to text Gregory?
Are you not interested in marriage because you weren't properly led down the right path to get married, or are you not interested in marriage because you're too risk averse and you're kind of scared? You just, there's a lot of known unknowns. You see the consequences of prior generation and all the costs, no fault divorce, that kind of thing. Like, nah, not for me. I'd be curious to know kind of if this perspective aligns with you and where you identify generationally. That being said, I think marriage is still appealing. I think we have to change it.
Pick right or left.
Punitive. I think there's too much punishment. There is a lot of risk, so I can resonate to some extent with Gen Z not wanting to marry because there is a lot of risk. So you have to. I think you have to incentivize.
No, you have to choose. Otherwise, you can't get an answer.
Especially
It's required.
Women being able to enter into relationships demand so much from their spouses.
Left.
Not necessarily have to give up anything in return, and be able to take after everything. I think.
Yes, you should.
I think women have to step up to the plate more and be the wives that men want. And
Yes.
They still don't think that way, so I think we have to overcome that for marriage to become appealing again. It changes the legal structure as well, so just go along with that. But this is again. The New York Times keeps writing.
What happens if you do? It will address the very thing you were asking me about.
And I think this is part of just a general psyop to convince people to be single and jobless. I'd love to hear about that. Share them in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.
Meet the new Sonic All-American Smash lineup. Pan smash patties made with Angus beef, always made to order and served hot on the grill. It's a classic American cheeseburger leveled up. Order the Sonic app today for $0 delivery fee. Live 3, eat Sonic. Something for this dinner. I changed. I love my life. You can get everybody home. With everything we've done. Every sacrifice pays.
Do you think you're somebody? You're a monster. There was a lot of truth in everything that he said, and he wasn't wrong. Like, it's clear, like, we're all rejecting this hustle culture. The previous video, I had the tag, the caption, like, girl boss is dying. Like, it's clear no one wants to live in the rat race anymore, right? So people, both men and women, are trying to find ways to opt out, and I think for women, I think Charlie was on something. Advocating for more traditional lifestyles as an alternative.
A really good reason to go to college, actually. You will find a husband.
How did this suddenly go mainstream? So I went onto the homestead and into the kitchen and to a Turning Point USA conference to meet some real life trad wives and find out who they really are and what they think.
I just don't want to get bullied by teenagers.
The last time we talked, we fought. How's he going to react? If the cards say he addresses me in a positive way, yes, because I thought about it. How would Greg feel?
Esther is 24 years old and lives in Ohio. She's exactly what I picture when I think trad. People will say that I look very traditional.
How would he feel?
I'm taller, I'm pregnant with another child, I got married young.
Obviously, he would be defensive. It'd be kind of similar to how he was in that video you just showed me, he would be his usual kind of self. But I think that because you've taken this time to kind of grow and work on how you approach people, I think you can make some progress with him. So you should do it. But if you're going to do your old stuff with him, I wouldn't recommend it.
I have never had such road rage as I had sitting in traffic, coming home after a long day of work in DC. I worked on a military base.
What?
In Northern Virginia.
I lagged out.
Going to work was fine. If I left my office,
I just said he'll be defensive. But if you approach him, he's grown. You've grown. If you use what you've learned and just approach him in a certain way, not like the ways that you've talked before, I think you'll make some pretty good progress. But if you're going to do the stuff that you've done before, I wouldn't recommend it.
Being able to have a slower paced morning, not feel rushed, read. Like I read in the mornings, having the opportunity to read, and that's really important. Like obtaining knowledge is the most valuable thing you can do right now. So maybe that's reading books, maybe that's watching documentaries, maybe that's tinkering around with an AI tool, whatever. But your brain is most valuable in the morning, so you know that's so you're supposed to.
I don't be doing nothing but saying, "Are you okay?" and he gets mad. You need to approach him with actual conversations. Okay. Because now that you've shown me, basically by showing me that video, you've shown me more about him. So I know a lot more about him just from looking at him. But Gregory is someone who he kind of doesn't like certain kinds of small talk. I don't know how to put it. He doesn't like empty messages. He doesn't like just being said, are you okay? And blah, blah. It annoys him. You need to come to him with something of substance and just get him talking. Talk about whatever. I don't know, current events, or something. Like, basically, I wouldn't even, he's the type, basically, you can't even really just ask a generic, are you okay, or what's going on. You just have to cut to the chase with him and be like, so yeah, about those bombs in Israel, or whatever, or talk about something in comics, or whatever he's into. Like, just get the nigga talking. That's all you really have to do with most things in life, is just get people talking, and you will get to the end point.
All the millennial girl boss women who have been put on a pedestal for the rest of us to follow, they're just absolutely insane. And then you have they created these female-centered workplaces that are just incredibly toxic, and no one wants to work there. And yeah, like it's a real thing. So women weren't allowed to girl boss even if they wanted to. The girl boss wasn't trying to change the way our economy works. She was just trying to succeed for herself in a broken system. Girl boss artists are so deeply rooted in capitalism. In 20, okay, that's a spoiler alert for what this is all about. Like, it's blaming the system, it's blaming capitalism for the rise of girl bosses, for the necessity for women to succeed. 16, I became disillusioned with the whole girl boss thing. I became a journalist and traded in my pantsuit for a swimsuit. Now Gen Z is coming of age, and surprise, surprise, being a worker in America still sucks. The gender pay gap has only narrowed by 4 cents since 2003, and their degrees feel worthless as entry-level jobs disappear. I totally get why some young women just want to escape to the prairie and bake sourdough.
But I couldn't help but wonder, does wishing for a family necessarily mean young women are becoming more conservative? The right-wing movement certainly thinks so. They've gone all in on recruiting young women who want out of the corporate rat race. They're investing big in a new class of social media savvy pundits who push conservative messaging to young women.
The feminist movement blames the fracturing of the traditional home, where women.
I would say too, clips of women that she just presented. I would say a number of them are self-made. Like, I enjoy Brett Cooper. I think she's fantastic. Yeah, she did work for the Daily Wire. That certainly helped. She's done a lot of mentorship. But it seems like she's worked hard and is very savvy and understands her generation very well and knows how to capitalize on attention. For Riley Gaines, I mean, Riley Gaines would not exist had it not been for Leah Thomas, right? Like, her entire platform is predicated on that, right? And so, you know, I would say that, yeah, sure, okay, now the conservative movement might be, you know, pushing more resources to amplify these voices, but I don't necessarily think these voices came out because there was this conservative conspiracy to do so. Like I think just opportunity arose and there, and here we are.
Women were coerced outside of their natural roles as mothers into the workforce.
They're cashing in on the girl boss backlash too, shaming women who don't want to have children or who want to have a career by calling them
A bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives. There are
They
a lot
are.
of successful 35-year-old orthopedic surgeons that have cats.
The right-wing youth group Turning Point USA is at the center of this messaging push. Last summer, I attended one of the youth conferences they host, Ground Zero for all things trad.
I wanted to do Air Force, I wanted to do FBI, was interested in police work, all of that. But then I really just came around to the perspective of what's more important in life. Is it going to be more important to me to have kids and a family in the future and that will last forever? Or a career that, yes, could help people, but also isn't going to be relevant in a few years? And
Good
it's rather
for her.
than to choose one. And I thought about it, I was like, oh my gosh, like I've not been choosing the right thing. I've changed from not wanting to have any kids to I can keep myself 4 or 5.
Right-wing activists have also launched a women's magazine they call the Conservative Cosmo. In between fashion tips and celebrity gossip, EV Magazine features articles fear-mongering about the dangers of birth control, focusing on your career, and delaying having children. EV's editor-in-chief, Brittany Hugo Boone,
I'm lagging.
also created a period tracking app that encourages natural family planning.
Ain't the spell supposed to make things easier to do? Yes.
Again, I don't understand
Which is why I
this
think you should go
controversy.
ahead and try
The fact
to
that
talk to
so many
him.
women
I think it'll go well.
do not track their cycles or understand fertility is a huge problem. You could solve so many issues and reduce a number of unwanted pregnancies if women just understood how their bodies work. And the way she's talking about, the tone she's using, it's like an indictment on this woman for creating this app. When there's
Okay, but does he
tons
want
of
you
apps
to
out
text
there
him?
that
That
don't
is
exist.
irrelevant.
People
You have to
use them.
impose
They're
your
very
will
effective. It just helps you understand
in this case.
how your body works. It's
You
so
have to.
different than using like a continuous glucose monitor or any other like wellness app like MyFitnessPal or something to track your calories. Like it should not be controversial.
And she sells a supplement called Toxic Breakup to use after quitting hormonal birth control.
Okay, now that's
Most of the app's funding came from right-wing billionaire Peter Thiel. This fits right into the larger reactionary right-wing movement, led by groups like the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society. They've spent decades dismantling the social safety net established in the New Deal and chipping away at reproductive rights.
okay. The New Deal isn't this wonderful social safety net. The New Deal fundamentally transformed our country. It was funded by seizing private citizens' ability to own gold. Funny how that works. And it completely expanded the welfare state so that the government is now the primary employer and jobs provider of people in this country, either directly or indirectly through different government programs. So, I mean, that just crossed $39 trillion. So I don't necessarily think the New Deal and FDR is to be celebrated.
And their scheming paid off big in 2022.
I deserve
when
to
they
know
overturned Roe v. Wade.
Don't be
Even
bratty.
trad-white fan
I already
classes
told
who
you.
aren't overtly political.
It doesn't matter.
Lives
All that
travel well
matters
into the
is that you
1950s
want
and
to
spark
talk to
conservative
him.
vision of America. A Christian family with a man at the head and a subservient wife. He goes out to work, she joyfully keeps the home and minds the children. Their efforts seem to be working. In 2024, the youth vote had its largest swing towards Republicans in 20 years, especially with young white women. Democrats were stuck in outdated girl boss messaging. Meanwhile, Republicans had someone on the ticket who understood trad mentality all too well.
You have women who think that truly the liberationist path is to spend 90 hours a week working in a cubicle at McKinsey instead of starting a family and having children.
Yeah, like how like this isn't a win, and this is how it's been framed as a win. And the assumption here is that we lose the ability for women to work 90 hours a week in a cubicle for McKinsey, that somehow society is going to be worse off. But in reality, society is already worse off because we took women out of the home and we put them in the workforce. I wrote a whole separate piece on this, but essentially, women were the community builders, right? So in the 1950s, you had neighborhoods of moms and women who were looking after each other. So you didn't need daycare, right? Because either mom stayed at home or you had family close by or you had neighbors who could take care of the kids for you. Kids could just run around the neighborhood, play after school because things were safe because you had moms on neighborhood watch. And so today we complain about the police and how aggressive they are. But in the past, you didn't have to worry about that because the police weren't being called in for all these stupid calls that they're getting these days because you had decorum and respect and values and moms.
And I do, but I'd rather not disturb my peace if he's not in the mood. Chanel, can you please just meet me halfway with this? This is very serious to me. Oh my god. I need you. I need you to do well. Whatever it is that you want to do, I need you to just do it. This is me giving you the green light. You need to do it. And there is no way that your peace can be disturbed. I am literally here for you. Your peace will not be disturbed. Just put the communication out and work from there. You must do something to get the ball rolling. I'm trusting you on this. Yes. Please. You put an insurance policy of $21 million on it.
Too, that isn't clear here, and this kind of gets back to the whole narrative around capitalism and the system, is that when women were the community builders and they were the foundations of their homes, they created stability not just within their households, but across society that allowed capitalism to work. And in the way that it was supposed to. It created a high trust society that is needed for capitalism to actually work. And so you removed women from that role and you've replaced it now with a low trust society. And that's how cronyism has really taken root. It's much easier to take advantage of someone when they're just a FICO score. They're not.
What if he gives you attitude?
And so
use what has been granted to you by Grimory and assume frame.
Consequences of what has happened over several generations now. My choice was between being a stay-at-home mother and doing Excel spreadsheets. I would be a stay-at-home mother.
Right now, Esther does work. She's an adjunct professor of philosophy and classics at a university nearby, where her husband, JB, is a PhD student.
I don't think that having a career in general is important to me, but having this job is important to me. Teaching students, doing philosophy, reading these great books. This is so amazing and meaningful.
it's not easy because it's just really hard to have sort of moved away from a one income household paradigm. The standard of living is just adjusted for there being two people working.
Esther and JB don't have a lot of money. How would you?
Okay, I just want to call attention to this too. If this woman was actually a trad wife in the 1950s sense, she would not be an adjunct professor. She would be teaching. Maybe she might be a school teacher, but in a lot of cases, like that paradigm and the subservient housewife that these people like to portray, they did not work outside the home. They were domestic housewives. So she can be conservative religiously and culturally and have kids, but clearly she's also working. So she doesn't fit this narrative that they're trying to paint.
Do finances and income factor into your decision about having children? They don't. I mean, if we were like homeless, we would be like, this is really scary. We need to like be very careful.
Can you ask her how he will react? And does she give me the green light? She already gave you the green light. And she already told you he would be defensive, apprehensive.
Yeah, the big one for me is the midwife. I had a OBGYN, but I ended up switching.
Ah, yes, okay. I've reached my 2-hour obligation. So you know what that means. Time for me to close down the shop here. And I guess eat, work out, and do my other stuff. You're calling? No, you are not calling me after this. No, you are not, because I'm still taking calls on my other thing. But I'll still be around. No, I won't answer, because my phone, right now, I still have to take calls for both of my jobs. So I literally cannot accept your call. You can text me. I mean, I guess if you call it'd have to be late at night, I think midnight or something. But no, N-O. If you call before midnight, you will not be getting an answer. No, do not hit me with the pleases. It's not going to work. But yeah, I'll be around. You can text me or whatever. And I think I'm back on schedule. So I'll see you later.
For a fraction of the price. So this is important to consider.